Hello, what up? Welcome to the Dope Show with Dopey. Anyways, I thought today I do, even though it's kind of late, my favorite albums of 2012 and my top 10 favorite albums of 2012, 2012 releases. Anyways, I got a list right here of what of the most bands that I like of the releases of 2012. So I'm going to just start off with number 10 and count down. Hortopsy, they do unspeakable things. Hortopsy is a pretty brutal motherfucking band. Pretty brutal death metal, and then I got some slams. So, it's like pretty brutal slamming death, in my opinion. Which is, if you really want an awesome band, it's Hortopsy. And I think it's, no, I'm not gonna say some shit I don't know. Anyways, no, I'm pretty sure it's their first album. I might be wrong, but that's all I've heard so far of autopsies. They do unspeakable things. Anyways, number 9, Relics of Humanity, and this is another pretty brutal death metal band, and I think they had some slams at some times. So I mean, it's brutal death metal, and if you're gonna have brutal death metal, you're gonna have some slamming breakdowns in it. So. Relics of Humanity, I think, just came out too last year, and they're pretty fucking brutal for just being out, man. It's like these bands that just come out of nowhere. It seems like they've been here forever. Like Autopsy is fucking brutal, and I just heard of them. I could be wrong, man. I didn't do no research on the backgrounds and like where they're from or whatever, blah blah blah, or how long they've been around. I'm just telling you my favorite albums that have been released in 2012. So. And then number 8, Devour the Unborn. This band I know is new. And Devour the Unborn is fucking brutal, man. Like, for a slam, they're slam. I'm gonna say it, man. They're definitely slam death metal. Or, yeah, they're slam death metal. For a slam death metal band, these guys are fucking brutal. And, they got some pretty technical shit at times, and then just some killer fucking slams, man. If you want a pretty awesome slamming death metal band, listen to Devour the Unborn. I mean, it's intense. And then number 7, you're gonna notice that I'm obsessed with slam. So Anyways, number 7 is Visceral Throne, and I really like Visceral Throne. I didn't even know them, but there's this band that I know. They go by Crotch Ripper. And they went on tour, or they did a show with Visceral Throne, and I checked those guys up on the internet, and I'm like, damn, pretty inspiring, man. And they came a year after Visceral Disgorge, and to me, Visceral Throne is kind of like a Visceral Disgorge, but almost, I want to say better, because the vocals are better, in my opinion. I like Visceral Throne's vocals better, and they're more technical, but they're technical slam. In my opinion, that's what they really are. They're really slamming. They're like a slam death metal, but technical slam. Slam technical death. Or slam technical death metal. Or technical slam death metal. And then number 6, this is definitely a slam death metal band, if anybody disagrees. It's called Cranium. Cranium, Postmortal Coital Asphyxiation, if that's even how you pronounce coital. It's like Coital, coital asphyxiation. Cranium, man, is always a brutal slamming band, man. I don't think you're ever going to be disappointed when they come out with a new album with whatever they do. But this album is a little different, not with the slams or anything. The slams are more heavier, man. It's just more in your face. And the vocalists seem to do gutturals, because it seems like their first 2 albums they just do inhales. On this album, it seems like he kind of does both. Like he brings his gutturals into it along with his inhales, which I really, really love. I love that shit. I enjoy it a lot. The computer's running slow, so I'm going to close some shit up here real quick. See if that'll help make it run faster. And for number 5, I love this band. I love this band so much, man. It's a huge influence on me. Putrid Pile. Blood Fetish. Putrid Pile, dude. it's slam death metal. Really, they got some slams. It's brutal death metal, but it's this dude. I'm pretty sure his name's Sean something. Anyways, I just say the dude from Putrid-Pile, and you know because there's only one dude. It's a one-man band, probably the best one-man band that's out there, in my opinion. I mean, there's a lot of awesome one-man bands or bands that use drum machines, but for Putrid-Pile being a one-man band, that dude is fucking intense. And with Blood Fetish, you're not gonna be let down, man. It's like you listen to House of Dementia, and I'm trying to think of the other Putrid-Pile album. For some reason, I don't think of House of Dementia, and the other Putrid-Pile album. And if you put those two together, this is like a Putrid-Pile album that you get. It's like Putrid-Pile on steroids. I mean, that guy never disappoints, man. Never disappoints. His vocals are so awesome, too. I mean, for guitars, he uses drum machine programs, of course, being a one-man band. And I'm telling you, man, this dude, his vocals will never disappoint you. His highs are probably the best highs, in my opinion, death metal ever. This guy's highs destroys any other death metal, deathcore band's highs on the planet. I mean, that dude is just a fucking juggernaut. When I first saw Putrid-Pile, I was like, oh my god, it's just one dude. What the fuck, man? What's going to happen here? And then it just came on. I was like, this is brutal shit. And no one started mosh pit for him, and I had to, man. I was just like, this band, and the dude's a beast. And because of him, I'm really interested in one-man bands like Intracranial Butchery, Cemetery Rapist, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, I don't think Intracranial Butchery is a one-man band, but whatever. Anyways, number 4. This is another fucking slam death metal band, in my opinion. And these guys, you'll never be disappointed, man, is Begging for Incest. Orgasmic Self-Mutilation. Begging for Incest is probably one of the most brutalist slam bands that are out there. And this album is definitely slam. Their first album, to me, was pretty slamming. Their second album is with definition of slam, man. Fucking brutal. The dude... And they got a new vocalist for this album, and he doesn't disappoint either. I mean, yes, of course you're going to love the first vocalist. He's awesome. But this dude, I almost just like a little bit more, man. I really do. He could do the inhales and gutturals, man. I mean, it's just like, it's a perfect combination. His fucking, his vocals are sweet and beast. Begging for Incest has not disappointed. The only thing I'm disappointed in is that they came out with an 8-track album. All these bands now these days are just coming out with 8-track albums, and I'm just like, I'm getting so sick and tired of the 8-track albums. It's like I'm just getting my fix, and I think there needs to be at least 10. Alright, so that was number 4, if you will. Begging for Incest, Self-Orgasmic Mutilation. Buy that album. That album, any begging for Incest. That's all you gotta say. Begging for Incest. You know it's going to be brutal, just for a name like Begging for Incest. It's brutal. Plus, I think they're from Germany, so of course, you know, it's going to be brutal. Number 3, probably one of my favorite bands of all time. I got a lot of favorite bands. This is going to kind of maybe throw you off a little bit because it's not slam. Cattle Decapitation, which the album Monolith. I'm pretty sure. I didn't write it down on my list, but I can pretty sure memorize it. I'm not going to look it up. And Cattle Decap, man, I've always loved them. They're a great band, which is awesome because when they first started out, they were grindcore. And now they're like brutal death metal, grindcore, death grind. And Cattle Decap is unique in their own ways. And you can never be disappointed in Cattle Decapitation if you're a Cattle Decap fan. I loved, my first Cattle Decapitation album was To Serve Man, and I'm pretty sure that's the album. I don't have it anymore, but it's the album that, where the guy opens up his guts and his intestines are on a plate. And that was my favorite Cattle Decap album forever. And then Human Manure came out, and I got Human Manure. I never did get Karma Bloody Karma, but I did get the Harvest Floor, or Blood Harvest. No, it's the Harvest Floor. Yeah, the Harvest Floor. And man, the Harvest Floor is just intense. But Monolith, man, I'm loving the direction they're going, especially with the vocalist. It's like melodic, and then his highs. You can't go wrong with Cattle's highs, man. And I'm pretty sure the lead singer name is Travis Ryan. I think I'm always stoned when I do these videos, man. I swear. I can't ever think straight. I need to do one sober one of these days. And the lead singer from Cattle Decapitation, brutal motherfucker, man. And Cattle Decap, you can't get wrong with Cattle Decapitation. I was supposed to see him for like the 4th time, man, this year, and then they canceled every time. It's like destiny, man. I'm never going to see a Cattle Decapitation show. I mean, when they're coming around, I'm like, I'm finally going to a Cattle Decap show. It gets canceled every time. And I told these guys that. I'm like, dude, man, every time I'm supposed to see you motherfuckers, you guys cancel. They're like, well, we don't cancel unless it's really important. And it was the 6 Feet Under show, you know, some bullshit that happened there. But I want to buy some Cattle Decap merch, man. I love buying the merch at the shows because it's cheaper at the shows, man. You can get a hoodie for like 20, 30 bucks, you know, instead of fucking $60. And the same thing with a shirt, $15, you know, and a hat, 15 bucks. I mean, it's just way cheaper. Alright, going on the list. This is my personal favorite band, and it's at number 2, which you might be like, why are you putting your favorite band at number 2? But anyways, you know, that's why I love it. You know, you can have your favorites releases. This was definitely a favorite release of the year for me. One of them is Dying Fetus, Reign Supreme. And this is an album, I'm pretty cool with Dying Fetus. I talk to him because I see him at least 3, maybe 2 times a year. And I usually talk to him about everything. Usually talk to the drummer about the drums, Beastly about Beastly, about his bass. And this is an album that did not disappoint. I was disappointed in the first music video for Moon to Waste because they didn't get Beastly in it at all. I mean, they got Beastly in it, but they didn't get Beastly and his bass in it at all, man. Usually every music video that Beastly's in, it's getting him playing his bass because the motherfucker is a bass player and a badass bass player to meet that. I mean, he meets with Gallagher on the sweeps on the guitar all the time. I mean, that motherfucker can sweep and his hands are the size of plates too, you know. It's just wonderful to see him play. But Dying Fetus, Reign Supreme. I'm not gonna lie, man. I love Dying Fetus. They're my favorite band. The last favorite album that they came out with that I liked was War of Attrition. I did get into Descendant Depravity. But there's like 3 songs on there that I really like. You know what I mean? Usually every Dying Fetus album, you like every fucking song from the band. And you know, I was kind of disappointed in the direction that they went with that one. Because, you know, I mean, the drummer for War of Attrition was just so ungodly amazing. You know, it seemed like it seemed Dying Fetus was progressing to this evolution. You know what I mean? And then you hear Descendant Depravity, and it seemed like they deprogressed. You know, it's just like they went backtracked or something like that instead of going forward. Which is like, it's alright, you know. To me, it sounded like a lot of old school Fetus mixed with some of the new school shit. And it wasn't bad. It really wasn't that bad of an album. But this album, Reign Supreme, I love it. I fucking love the album. I love every song on this album. I mean, which is amazing. I don't talk shit about Trey Williams because it's hard to step up after the last drummer. The last drummer, Dwayne Timlin, he was a goddamn drum machine. I mean, that motherfucker was a human drum machine. I swear to God, that motherfucker was a goddamn beast. And but Trey Williams, he's definitely stepped it up for this album, and I love Reign Supreme. It's fucking brutal, man. It's definitely they took their last album and went more caveman on this one, and plus, you know, it's different. Oh, the last album, it almost seemed like the song didn't end, and you keep hearing the same song over and over again. Anyways, I think I should just stop talking about Dying Fetus, because once I start talking about Dying Fetus, you're just going to not get me to shut up. Because I love Dying fucking Fetus, man. Dying Fetus is my favorite band. But right now, my favorite release of 2012 and the entire year, and the most album that has impressed me, is Malignancy. Malignancy, Eugenics, man. This fucking band... I saw them with Dying Fetus this year. It was Cerebral Bore, Malignancy, and Dying Fetus. Great fucking show. And when I saw them play their new shit, I was watching it. It was intense. It sounded. This album is wow. This is Malignancy. You know what I mean? Malignancy, you're expecting something with Malignancy. This album, it seems like Malignancy was like, haha, you weren't expecting that, were you, bitch? And I'm like, no, I wasn't. You know, I mean, because their first two albums are basically, you know, brutal death, and then my last favorite Malignancy album, actually, to be honest with you, was Intrauterine Cannibalism, which I do love that album a lot. But then Cross Species, and I can't remember the other one, because Intrauterine Cannibalism, I'm pretty sure, is their second one. And but this Malignancy fucking album is way up there. I mean, they did totally something different, and the lead singer started doing highs, which I'm pretty sure he's never done those highs. And I dig, and the lead singer's vocals has gotten even more brutaler. I didn't look up, but I think, yeah, it's definitely the same lead singer. Because I saw him live and it still looked like the same dude. And I'm not for sure. I didn't, blah, blah, blah. I think they had a new drummer, though, in my opinion. When I did see him, it didn't look like the original drummer. It looked like a new drummer, so. Fucking Malignancy's Eugenics is one of the most fucking brutalist albums of the year, man. I mean, it's almost like a Cattle Decapitation album, but lower. You know, that's the only way to explain it, because Cattle Decap is pretty grindy and stuff like that. Usually Malignancy, this is what I was going to try to say about Malignancy. Malignancy, you're expecting tech. You know, like brutal tech. You know, it's just technical, more technical, and then even more technical. It's like tech grind. That's like the only way I can explain Malignancy. This one, man, they went groovy, man. There's technicality in there, yes, but not anything like they've done before. It seems like it's more groovy, more slamming, more brutal, just edgy. It's just like it's like that caveman shit. You know, if you could do the karate chop to it, man, then it's fucking caveman. You know, or it slams like, you know, it's just fucking beast. Anyways, that's my top 20, or my top 2012 albums, my top 10 albums of 2012. And if anything, I endorse all these bands, man. You can tell I like slam, but Malignancy's album is my favorite album of the year of 2012. And I can't wait for 2013. A lot of expected shit. The one I think that did came out last year, that I'm going to say the ones that I am disappointed in, is the one that I was looking forward to was Ingested's new album, and I think it's called The Suppression or something, and it was just agonizing letdown, an agonizing letdown, and I'm hoping they're supposed to be coming out with another one here soon, and then 2013, you know, you already got the Devourment album that put them back on the map. Anyways, I'm just going to stop talking. I hate it when my videos get to 20 minutes long. Thank you for tuning into The Dope Show. Top 10 albums of 2012. Have a nice day. Peace.